Agent Romanoff. You miss me?
Oh yeah, Charles, we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Captain.
Your Highness.
Captain, big fan, Spider-Man. Hey everyone.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Film Artsy, your number one source for all things films and movies. And over the past couple of weeks, we've been looking at some of the best scenes from our favorite characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We've looked at a lot of the major characters like Captain America, Thor, and so on, but we haven't taken a moment to appreciate some of the lesser characters or less main characters and kind of more of the secondary characters that have done some really incredible things. And we recently looked at the Black Widow, and continuing on that trend of the secondary characters that are just so good, today we decided to take a look at the Winter Soldier. So with that being said, today we're counting down our picks for the top 10. This scene, first of all, is just really cool because it still had a lot of mystery surrounding the Winter Soldier and who he was. And besides everything and everyone attempting to kill Nick Fury, he managed to escape from all of them with the exception of course, the Winter Soldier, which actually does a really interesting play on not only how clever and genius Nick Fury is, which we see later in the film, but it also kind of shows how dangerous the Winter Soldier was and how much of a threat he is, that where everyone else fails, he kind of succeeds to an extent. And it really set the stage for the film, and this scene was just really cool. Next, we have the fight scene between the Black Panther and the Winter Soldier from Captain America: Civil War. We notice in the Captain America movies, a lot of the fight scenes are extremely heavily choreographed, and they end up looking really amazing. But we also have this really amazing scene that devolves out of Civil War, and it's just really cool because we already knew how strong of a fighter the Winter Soldier was, or Bucky was, but pairing him up against the Black Panther set a stage not only for the Black Panther, but also made it just a really cool fight scene overall, and we really like that one. Next up, we have Captain America versus Bucky in the helicarrier. We knew this face-off would eventually happen in the movie at some point, and it was just so much more epic when it happened kind of up there in the carrier. And yeah, there was a lot of chaos that ensued afterwards, and the damage that was done set a new precedent for the MCU moving forward. But this fight scene overall is just really cool, and that's why we like it. Next, we have Bucky catching Captain's shield. It's just a really short but cool scene. It really just underlines how mysterious this character was at the beginning and how much of a threat he potentially could be. And overall, we just thought it was kind of neat. It was a cool introduction to the character, and it works here. Next up, we have Tony Stark's parents' assassination. While this scene is kind of awful because of the whole just bad situation that Bucky is in, and kind of just, I mean, he's brainwashed, but it's kind of a bad situation. However, the scene itself does so much for the MCU and the character development between both of the characters, and even you can throw Captain America's character in too, that this scene has a lot of weight in the MCU, and it's really interesting how these characters were kind of connected long before the Avengers, and obviously there's probably some bad blood after what happened in Civil War. However, there's never a moment where you can't see the argument coming from each character. And we really appreciated that no character had some crazy reaction to what has happened to them individually, as Bucky was brainwashed, Iron Man's parents were killed, And I guess Steve is just kind of friends with Bucky. So there's that. Next up, we have Black Widow versus Bucky in a fight. Again, we just really like the scenes that are heavily choreographed because it's almost like something that takes a lot of planning to put on film and to practice it and put it all together. And when it's done right, it looks amazing. And this is just a great example of how good this scene looks. Next up, we have the scene where the Winter Soldier breaks out of containment. We really like the scene just because of what it does in this little section. It has just a bunch of people kind of fighting without their full potential, their full weaponry, or their full suits. And it's kind of nice to see some of this action that's still somewhat contained into a smaller fight, but it's still very well choreographed and just looks amazing. Following the same trend of the last scene, the next scene that we really like is the fight scene between the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Captain America and the Winter Soldier in the same Breakout. This one kind of earned its own spot just because it's really fun to watch, and it involves kind of two different characters that are technically really close to this character, or become really close to this character over time, and it's cool to see how those characters evolve over time, and this scene just works well and is fun to watch. And finally, the Winter Soldiers team up with Rocket Raccoon.
How much for the gun?
Not for sale.
Okay, how much for the arm? Oh, I'll get that arm.
There were a lot of other scenes in this that we really couldn't fit into this that would really have the same weight that the scenes we do have on this list had, and we got a chance to see this character evolve so much kind of off screen, or in what we had in Civil War, and a lot of the off screen stuff, how he changes in Wakanda, that we kind of got a little snippet of in Black Panther. But overall, this giant fight that kind of wraps up the beginning of the end for this first half of the MCU, or the first section of the MCU that we've had so far. It's really nice to see how this character has evolved and is fighting alongside the good guys, but also isn't afraid to hold a raccoon that has a gun and shoot a bunch of bad guys. And this scene is just one of those scenes that's amazing, and it's cool that they went ahead and they put it in because it looks pretty awesome, and it's definitely one of the better scenes in the films. But let us know what you think. What is your favorite moment from the Winter Soldier in these movies? Are you a fan of Sebastian Stan? Let us know down below. Be sure to subscribe and turn notifications on if you're new. And we'll see you all soon with a brand new video.
Talking?
I'm about to.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Hi.
See you guys.
Know anybody?